Thank you, Australia. I came here about 7 years ago as a burnt out doctor in the UK, and Australia's really made me enjoy being a doctor again. So thank you guys. I'm a citizen now, I got my passport. I'm incredibly proud and I'm privileged to be an Australian.
Moving to Jamaica from the UK, was it a hard experience? I feel like it was very smooth, and that's because I made this plan for a number of years. It wasn't just a last minute thing. In terms of finding a job, I definitely feel like that is the most challenging part, especially looking for a remote job. But if you look for admin-based jobs, you'll be able to find something that can allow you to work in Jamaica.
I'm an online business owner and I left the UK permanently around 5 years ago now. Now I'm living in Thailand. This is the reason why I would never return to the UK. I'm sorry to say it, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but the people in the UK are very miserable. And I actually felt like that too when I was living there. I was super miserable. The vibe just isn't great. Everyone just seems in a bad mood. People are complaining all of the time. And it's just a very negative place to be. People are just saying negative things all the time, and it's just not a vibe. Second, it's got to be the cost of living crisis. I mean, when we did live in the UK, we were living paycheck to paycheck, and that was 5 years ago, and it was bad then. We're doing really well in the online business now. You know, we're earning a lot more than we were in the UK, but I still wouldn't move back, even though I could probably afford to live there now, because the cost of living is just insane for what you get. Taxes are super high, whereas you don't get much in return for that. You don't get good healthcare, or you're not seen very quickly. You don't feel safe on the streets as a woman. I wouldn't walk around on my own in Manchester, which is where I used to live.
So I've had a lot of questions about how much money will I be earning as a doctor in Australia. So I'm very happy to talk about it and be open and honest. I think to start with, it's really important for me to stress that money probably isn't even a top 3 reason for me making the move. Things such as the lack of the respect for the profession in this country plays a huge role. How much better the work-life balance is over there in Australia. And definitely as well, the teaching, how much more time and effort is clearly put into the teaching over there in Australia. So they all play a major role for me. But of course, money does play a role. So let's talk about it. So my UK base salary at the moment is just over £32,000 for the year. And then with out of hours, so nights, weekends, stuff like that, I'm probably going to be pushing up to about 36, maybe £37,000 for the year. So if we compare that to Australia, so my base salary in Australia next year is going to be just under £53,000 for the year. And then I don't know my final pay, but after adding out of hours, nights, weekends and stuff like that, they reward you much better out there for those hours. So it's looking like I'm going to be pushing up to about £70,000 for the year. So it really is no exaggeration to say that it's basically double the pay I'm earning at the moment, whilst working much less hours. So yeah, that's just being open and honest about how much I'll be earning.
I left the UK over a year ago, and I don't really think I'll be moving back. I quit my 9 to 5, packed up my life, sold everything, and said goodbye to my friends and family in March 2023. For me, moving away was really about being truly happy and enjoying my life. But these were my main reasons. Number 1, I needed sun. The lack of vitamin D was doing a number on my mental health. Number 2, I wanted better work-life balance and I wanted adventure. I remember sitting in my flat that I'd worked so hard to get and thought, this can't be it. Life can't just be working, paying bills and trying to fit like living into the weekend. There was something that my manager had said to me that stuck. She said, create a life that you don't have to escape from. Exactly what I wanted to do. And number 3, I wanted the vibes. I wanted a life where I was an active participant, where every day I was exploring and learning something new.
Exit before the exit tax. That's what I've got to say. I'm telling you, all of this is falling into place in my head. When I look at it, 9 months ago, I left the UK. I sold off my assets that were in my personal name and put everything in my limited company name. And now it makes even more sense why the government were on this drive for people with properties in their personal name to shift them over into the limited company names, especially those with bigger portfolios. Like, that's what we were doing. As brokers, we were moving people with 6+, and the ones with 6+ didn't have to pay the stamp duty or the capital gains tax. But the smaller landlords had to pay both of those.
Let me tell you why I chose to move to Dubai from the UK and made it mine and my daughter's home. And like in the UK, it's one of the safest cities in the world. It's one of the cleanest cities in the world. It's given me an amazing lifestyle. It's tax-free, and also my income here, I couldn't even compare it to what I would be getting in the UK. And finally, I was blessed to have my daughter here in Dubai. And after having her, it made me realise that there's literally nowhere else in the world I'd rather bring her up. It has an amazing education system, amazing healthcare system, brilliant lifestyle for children, and most of all, the safety.
Welcome to Diaries of a Burnt Out Doctor who's just trying to find her way in the world. I've made the decision to pursue residency in the US and swap UK burnout for US burnout. Make it make sense. I've already passed step 1, so now it's on to step 2. With the junior doctor strikes and high specialty competition ratios, I wanted to try something different and pursue my dream of moving abroad. Pros and cons to each, but for me, the US just makes sense. Everyone says the USMLE and getting into residency is impossible, but I'm not going to let that stop me.
Let's talk pros and cons of me moving 4,160 miles to a Caribbean island with my 10-month-old daughter while I make a matchup. Okay, so the number one pro is that we're fortunate enough that my fiance has a family house in Barbados that we could live in mortgage and rent free, which also means that we could rent out the current flat that we're living in London. So major plus on the home side. Pro number 2, we'd be living in a sunny climate. People in sunny climates are just always happy. I'd be tanned all year round. My outfits would be so cute. And more importantly, my daughter would grow up with the sunshine, the sea breeze. It's just better air. London pollution is so bad. But okay, let's be realistic here and talk about the cons. The most important con is that there is no NHS in Barbados, so healthcare would be extremely expensive, and that's quite worrying now that we have a daughter. Con number 2 is that my family all live in London, so it'd be really hard to be away from them. And finally, our careers are important, as they'll be what's providing the best life for me. So I guess it's about deciding how we would be able to make as much money in Barbados as we could in London.
Things are so tight that people are telling you to cancel a £13-14 a month Netflix subscription. Yeah. When you think about it, £13 a month. We're in a first world country and people are having to resort to saving £13 a month where they can, or however much Netflix is. Something that your only form of escape is something that you can just about sit home and say, okay, let me fling this on and watch. People are telling you to cancel that. Cancel your membership, gym membership. Cancel your Netflix. Everything that gives you that escapism, that gives you balance, cancel it. This country's finished. Finish. Rubbish!
Young people are still leaving this country every month. More and more people are leaving for a better life. The United Kingdom, in my opinion, is in dire straits. I was once inspired by the City of London. I was once inspired to be successful here. The more successful I got here, I opened up businesses in this country. The more I realised how difficult it is to actually become successful. Because of taxations, of policies, of unfair rules, and it's just not right, guys. It's just absolutely not right. You are constantly swimming against the tide in the UK. I don't remember the last time a new policy has been brought in, or something has been brought in to ease up the situation, apart, and I'm going to say this, although I didn't vote for them, when the Conservative government started giving payments to people to help with their winter fuel. Now, I definitely understand that. Where does that money come from? That's the question, right? That's a good question. But apart from that, I don't remember when something was voted in my favour. I don't remember reading the news and seeing something positive. It is a constant negative. Every single year, month on month, something is being taken away from us, and it's usually freedom, rights, or money. And this is continuously happening month on month. And we have to realise this, guys. We are just getting poorer. The amount of genuine taxes, you got your VAT, your corp tax, your dividends tax, you got your capital gains tax, you tax left, right and centre. So my money is becoming less, my opportunities are becoming less, my customers are decreasing, yet the tax and the price of everything is going up. My profit gap is literally reducing. So how are people meant to survive? How is this now a place where people want to open up businesses? Well, guess what? It's not. That's why everyone's leaving.
Whew. So why I left the UK? Where do I start? Reason number 1. The UK will suck the living daylights out of you. I'm saying Glock 3000, double spin, twister, it will do all of that to you, bro. It's the type of place that, for me, I feel like I got out of uni thinking, okay, yeah, I've got my degree now, I'm going to be flying high. But I don't want to go corporate. So if I don't want to go corporate, what else is there for me to do? I want to do music, I want to do content, but that's not sustainable because I'm not there yet. So what do? I go get a job. And I feel like the moment I got myself into the 9 to 5 when I was working that specific 9 to 5, it was Amazon. Yes, Amazon. You know how it is. You're working 10 hours a day, 8 to 6:30 a.m. Bro, by the time you even find sleep, in the day, you're already starting the next shift. So imagine running that race for about a year and some change. You're going to fall into depression, bro. You can't see yourself progressing because the cost of living is getting higher and you're kind of dependent on the job. So then it's just bro, what am I doing here? For me, I just felt like I needed a change of scenery, a change of pace, and thank God because I'm here now. You know what I'm saying? In Miami.
After 2 years as a qualified nurse in the UK, I am making the move to Sydney. Working in the NHS has been tough. I have lost not only myself, but my passion for my job. I have met the most amazing colleagues and proud to say I was a part of the NHS. I am excited for my new journey.
I'd rather suffer here than in the UK. I mean, it's cold. Let's suffer in the heat. Do you know what I mean?
The UK isn't my home because I went through so much there. Things like being 12 years old, walking down the street with my little brother and having men 18, 19, 20 years old shouting racial abuse at us in the street.
Happy to the monkey. Really? Yeah. For me as a mum, there's only one way to deal with that. I'm either going to fight or I'm going to, I also experienced racism. I remember, being called the N-word walking across the road and not really understanding why.
I went to university twice and I dropped out twice, to be honest with you. Yeah, literally twice. If I could go back in time, I'd go back to uni twice and drop out twice again.
At 5 years old, he came back and he told me, I don't play with anyone, mummy, I don't have friends. And I said, oh, why? What happened, Keziah? And he said, the little boys at school said they don't want to be my friend because I'm not white.
I am leaving the UK, and the reasons I'm leaving the UK is number one, the weather is pony. It is absolutely shit for the weather over here. Dark nights, it rains 90% of the time, especially for the next 8 months, and it's going to be freezing cold very soon. You won't want to do fuck all over here. Number two, the government can't stand British people. They don't like us. They want us out. They want a Britain with loads of foreigners, illegals, and all the rest of it in it, and all us British people need to leave to get away from them. Let them treat all the others like fucking shit, because they're not going to treat me like it. Number three, the fucking women won't give out no more. Used to be able to get loads of nookie over here. Now you've got to pay for everything for 6 months to even get a chance of a bunk up. They don't give out anymore. And half of them wear fucking leggings all through the winter. I am sick of the sight of women wearing leggings, and showing their arse crack like a builder. It's just not good for my health. Number four, the fucking food over here is shite. Have you had the food over here? Fish and chip shops ain't fish and chip shops anymore. Fucking awful bits of fish. I don't know where they're getting it from. The local lake? Fucking that ain't fish, is it? It's all batter with the tiniest bit of fucking fish in it. It is shit stuff. The food's crap. We got all things like kebabs, fucking curry houses and all this crap that I'm not used to eating. That's why I end up in McDonald's every fucking night, because the food's so crap. And we all know how crap McDonald's is. And last but not least, I want to live on a fucking beach in the peace and quiet, where the sun shines, having a pina colada, having a fucking Long Island iced tea, without all these miserable, gutless, moody, horrible, bitchy, fucking bitter, twisted, horrible snakes that live in the UK.
Here are 5 reasons why we won't be returning back to the UK once we've finished travelling. Number 1 is the cost of living crisis. Things are just getting way too unaffordable. You have to work every hour God sends just to afford the necessities and keep a roof over your head. There's no room for enjoyment and the costs are just going up and up and up. It's got too much. Into is woke ideology. You can't say boo to a goose anymore. Everybody's offended, everybody's appalled, and it just leaves everyone feeling awkward and scared to say anything. It's not a great environment. In third place is the weather. Now this is something that can't be changed, unfortunately, but if you can't afford to get away to warmer climates at least once a year, it can get pretty depressing. You have about 9 months of the year with doom and gloom weather. When it finally gets to the British summer, it's pretty much raining all the time, but you might get that one freakishly hot day at 40 degrees where you've got to rush to Curry's and get yourself a fan before they all sell out. That is the British weather summed up. Number 4 is negativity. There's a lot of negativity and judgment these days, whether it's friends bashing other friends down, work colleagues stomping on other work colleagues. You only have to drive on the road for 5 minutes and people are beeping in your face, getting road rage, barging in front of you. It's not a nice vibe and we should be lifting other people up rather than pushing them down. And number 5 is lack of culture. Sadly, in the UK now, British culture and heritage is squashed down. It's not celebrated enough. People are quiet about it, and it's really, really sad to see. I'm at a temple in Bangkok today. This is a golden reclining Buddha. It's fully celebrated the history, the heritage of Thailand. There's Thai flags everywhere, and it's really sad that we don't have things like this in the UK that are celebrated anymore.